Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to this impromptu reading, collective divination that I am sharing with you as Pluto enters into Aquarius today. So, I wanted to offer this reading with this spread here. Um, what happened was yesterday, I sat down and I was just sitting at my altar, talking to my ancestors' writers' room. By the way, I'm Shaunga of Otherworldly Giants. I am hosting a space called the Ancestors' Writers' Room, and from that space, I want to offer this reading for us today. As Pluto enters Aquarius. So the other day I was just sitting there and I was talking to my ancestors, and then I just grabbed this deck, which is the Modern Witch Tarot, and I started shuffling, and I wasn't even pulling cards. Cards were flying out, and so usually, when I do a tarot reading, I will like ask a question or, have an intention or something. And yesterday that didn't happen. It was just like, almost went into a trance and grabbed it, and the cards were just like flying out. And this is the spread that came out. Okay, so it was like these 8 cards here. We have 6 of Cups, the Magician, 8 of Wands, 5 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, 7 of Wands, the Hierophant. And over here we have Ace of Swords and 10 of Swords. So these cards flew out, and I felt like this was the spread that they wanted to be in. This is like the order. And then I was like, okay, let me cut the deck. Who's on the bottom of the deck? Temperance was on the bottom of the deck. And so what felt really clear to me soon into this reading was that um, this is Ancestors Writers Room. I call upon a lot of different ancestors to come through and offer their stories and their medicine and their wisdom for the current times that we're living as revolutionary ancestral artists, and creators and ceremonialists. And the ancestor that really felt clear to me was speaking through this reading is the ancestor of justice, justice itself, justice, her, him, themself, primordial ancestral energy in the universe. Justice is the universe, really. Justice is the universe, the generous way that the universe works, the balance of the universe, the complexity, the micro and the macro, down to the smallest cell and the biggest galaxies. Justice is the way that our universe works. And to live in the spirit of justice is to honor that every day. And that's why it really felt like that's why temperance is here at the bottom of the deck, because temperance is what I, especially in this reading, I'm feeling temperance is that representative of what does it really mean to be in balance with our lives and with each other, and with the universe. And what does it mean to seek that and live that in a context of so much injustice, in a context of so much imbalance? Um, so that's where we are. And also, what felt really clear to me is that this was a message as Pluto enters Aquarius today. So, this message is very relevant for us in terms of this moment and the guidance that it's offering us in this exact moment. But it's also for 2024, because if you understand astrology, you know that the planets go in and out of signs as they're transitioning into new signs. Um, so Pluto has been in Capricorn for the last 15 years. And last year and this year, it's kind of doing this like dance in between Capricorn and Aquarius. It's like moving to Capricorn, then Aquarius, and Capricorn, then Aquarius. And then finally, at the end, toward the end of 2024, Pluto is going to fully move into Aquarius and start a completely new era, a new generation. Because Pluto is like the furthest planet away from us, right? So it is truly like a generational shift when Pluto moves signs. Okay. Um, and so we are in that midst of a big generational shift right now. Um, and but because it's a little flux moment, right? Because we're in that moment where it's kind of going in between Pluto and Capricorn and Aquarius. And so today it's moving into Aquarius, and it's going to stay there until, I forgot to look up the exact date. It's something, Pluto's going to go back into Capricorn like September, October, November, somewhere around there. Um, so the next like 9 months, we're really getting a taste of what the next era is going to be. We're really moving forward into that next era. And then at the end of 2024, this theme that we're experiencing right now in this moment in January is going to revisit at the end of the year, and it's going to come around full circle again, and then fully move us forward into the new phase. um so that's kind of, that so this reading is relevant for right now, but it's also relevant for the whole of 2024, is yeah, the point of that little spiel. um so I pulled these cards out and I was like, they're telling a story. um so let's unfold that story, and I want to start right here. This Eight of Wands. This is where we're at right now, at the end of January. And we have this Five of Wands that's sitting right next to it. This Five of Wands, because we're talking about justice, 2023 might have brought us, personally and certainly collectively, a revisitation of repeating acts of injustice that you might have felt like you were in some kind of time loop in 2023. And like you have worked really, really hard for the last 15 years, for the last 7 years, on something important to your heart. And you got to the end of Pluto and Capricorn, and there's this doggone thing that is in your way, and it has been in your way really prominently for the last 7 years. It's really been around since you took your first breath. It's this The way that the Five of Wands is speaking to me right now is that there's something in your way, on your path, and it's not one of those things that is a super easy fix. It's something that you have really worked hard to try and sort out. It's a real stalemate in front of you. It's like if you get in it, you're just like, it feels like an impossible situation. Like there's dead ends all around you, and you just don't know how to get out of this hole in the ground, this time loop, but you know you have to. You know that this is it. You know that you can't deal with this repeating act of injustice, or this repeating heartburn, repeating. I just felt guided to say it that way because it's literally, that's what it feels like. It's like a burn on your heart. It's like you get burned in the place of your heart again and again. That it hurts that much. And it's like this thing, its thing is genuinely in your way. And I feel like been this energy of like, you've been working at this for such a long time, and you've really spent the entirety of Pluto and Capricorn um, dedicated, dedicated to righting this wrong, and dedicating yourself to principles and beliefs of justice to, I don't know, like unravel this thing somehow so it's not this mess. And we certainly see that um, in the collective. Pluto and Capricorn. When Pluto entered Capricorn is when 15 years ago, Israel started bombing Gaza and has been doing it consistently since. And here we are. So, the thing is, though, that you're on this bike and you're on this path. And what justice is asking of us right now is to keep moving forward. And you're like, but how do I do that? Because this thing is in my way. Your inclination might be to stop, slow down, as we have learned from driver's ed and road safety. When there's when you're driving down the road and there's an obstruction in front of you, you slow down and I don't know, you wait until it clears out, or you maneuver around, you find a different way to go, or you get off your bike and you go in there and you try and do some conflict resolution, you try and see what's going on, you get into that mess. That's basically what you've had to do for the last 15 years. Um, in a major way. The last 7 years for them in a major way. You've had to adjust yourself around this rigmarole. And that's why it's so frustrating right now that you've really tried. You really tried to work it out. But your heart just kept getting burned. And now and the thing is, this is where this comes in. See this card over here? You have been in a space of so deeply protecting your principles and your beliefs and your values and what you know to be true and right around what is a just way to live here on the planet. And because this thing is constantly in your way, constantly having to adjust to it, constantly trying to have to get in there and uh, help people sort things out, you end up having to live like this, picking up so many responsibilities that are not yours. You're having to walk around carrying all this extra stuff that isn't yours. And you've just gotten used to living like that. That's the consequence of having this on your path. But now, what justice as an ancestor is saying, speed up. I know it goes against what you think is uh, the right thing to do, like what seems to be the safe thing to do. But justice is saying, speed up now. There is this obstruction ahead of you, speed up. So it's almost like it's a little bit of a daredevil thing. Like if you're driving your car and you see something ahead of you, but you know you're on the right path, um, you press the accelerator. Who would do that? Who would do that? Who would press the accelerator in that moment? Someone who trusts that by the time you get to that spot, it'll be removed. You have to trust that you're on the right path, and this is your path. You're not supposed to keep adjusting yourself for this. This is what is not supposed to be here in your life, in your energy field, in on your path. This is not supposed to be on your path. If it was in the past, you learned everything that you had to learn from that. Now, you it's done. It's not supposed to be there anymore. And so what justice is saying is justice is these 8 wands. So justice is saying, speed up, because at the end of the day, I'm faster than you. It's fine. What I'm going to do is as you speed up, I'm going to speed up these wands, and these wands are going to remove this from your path. And that's actually what this is. This is justice. This is spirit. This is the universe. This is karma. It's saying stay on your path. That's your karma. And what justice is going to do is go boom. It's going to those wands are going to take this out, and it's going to also clear this out of your path, and you have to let it go. You have to let those burdens go and let justice just do its job. And that then turns into this, right? And we get straight to temperance, balance. And then after that, look at what's on the other side of that. You are the Queen of Pentacles. You are the Queen of Pentacles. This is you truly being honored and recognized for your gifts, and having that reciprocity come back to you. It is putting things out into the world generously, like the Queen of Pentacles is, and receiving that balance and having it work out. Having it just work out. Getting to live in your birthright, which is balance, which is justice. It's it's how the universe just works out. That you don't have to do all this rigmarole just to get by. You don't have to burn yourself out just to make ends meet. This is who you are now. This is who you get to be. Once you put your foot on the gas pedal there. And when I talk about revolutionary ancestral artists, I want to talk about the larger story here, right? So if this is where we are, right now, and we're being asked to just put your foot on the gas pedal and go, as revolutionary ancestral artists, we were given something when we were born, to something really important to protect. Like I said, something really important to your heart to protect. It's your gift, your spiritual gifts. It's your magic. It's the multidimensional way that the universe works. You're carrying those memories. I've been talking about this. I've said this in a lot of places, and we know this, right? That colonization came for our gifts. It came for our magic. It came for the wondrous expression of the universe that we are. It came for our quantum communication abilities. It came to sever the first, in one of my earlier podcast episodes called The Galactic Roots of Genocide, we learned from a very old ancestor that the first thing genocide did in the universe was cut off our ability to communicate with each other across worlds and dimensions. The first thing genocide did. And our very, very old ancestors, they, for generations, have hid that magic in the most stealthy, genius places where genocide couldn't find them. Far in the jungle, far up into the mountain, deep into quantum time. They hid the magic. But we are now at a point in our collective evolution where our job anymore is not to hide the magic. It has been to discover it and retrieve it and recover it and bring it up into the open and share it. And so many of us during Pluto in Capricorn, let's like this a 6 of Cups today, what this is telling me a story about like you knew that magic when you were a kid. You knew what it was. Like it feels like the ancestor gave it to you. This honor of like look at what shouldn't have survived. But it did, and now we're giving it to you, you wonder child. But this kid had to go to school and grow up in a family or culture that didn't understand it, didn't have elders, was probably gaslit, wasn't wasn't supported, or recognized for who they are and what they're carrying, didn't find places to belong, struggled, had to deal with maybe abuse and toxic stuff in community, in religious spaces, in educational spaces, friendship circles, etc. But this is here now because it's like that kid in you gets to be honored now. This is like when Buffy went to the prom and after years and years of, fighting demons in secret and nobody knew, nobody recognized her for how much she protected the world and her school, but at prom, they gave her that beautiful umbrella and they were like, "We see you, Buffy. We see you. We recognize you. Here's a gift. Here's our honor. We have to praise you." They play that song. I got to celebrate you, baby. I got to praise you like I should. This is our moment where our ancestors are like, I want you to receive this honor now that you have been ever so faithful protecting all the way through Pluto and Capricorn. You were this magician who was like, I'm retrieving this, I'm recovering this. In the last 15 years, you're like, I'm going for it. I don't know what I'm searching for, but I'm doing it, I'm becoming it. And the more that you did, the more that you protected your beliefs, your principles, your interests, your magic, the more you opened up to your magic, boom, door slam, boom, door slam, boom, door slam, boom, door slam. You lost so much. Jobs, friends, partners, marriage, career. Uh, you maybe had to deal with whisper campaigns, people saying all sorts of stuff about you because of what you chose to do and be. You may have lost reputation in certain circles. Who the fuck cares? You were like, you have lost so much, but the ancestors see you. Justice sees you. Justice recognizes you and thanks you for what you have done, who you became, what you committed to in 2008 that is blooming into full fruition today. You were the magician and you protected that seed. And you did it surrounded by injustice. You protected justice in an environment that was surrounded by injustice. And again, you had to do a lot of this in order to survive that, in order to manage the repeating acts of injustice, in order to manage whatever the heck this is in your life. And you thought, maybe this is all that I am worth or am good for in this life. This is all that's ever going to be available to me is walking around life carrying all these burdens, exhausted, burnt out, no support, no help, just carrying all these responsibilities that aren't mine. Justice is like, have faith now. This is about faith that you've done enough. You've done enough during Pluto and Capricorn. Now it's time for you to leave this space. And I've said this before in a recent poem that I um, published called "The Earth Has Bills to Pay," where the era of you merely defending your principles is over. Now you get to be in an environment that protects your principles and beliefs and interests so much that you get to fully advocate for them. You don't just have to defend them or explain them or constant educating anymore around them. You get to fully live them out freely in an environment that is protecting your principles rather than constantly attacking them. That's where we're headed right now. That's what this Queen of Pentacles is. Okay? And then these three cards here, the Two of Wands, Seven for us on this life path, I want you as we enter into February, go through the end of January, I want you to really look at the big picture of what your heart wants to create in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You have big those of us who are resonating with this reading, and those of us who I am, talking about as revolutionary ancestral artists, we have big ceremonial projects, art projects, enterprises, big sacred spaces that we have promised our ancestors, like this. That kid in you promised your ancestors, and the elder in you before you incarnated into this body and became that kid. The elder promised something to life and to justice itself, that you would come here and you had something big to do in your life, even if it's just I'm coming here to come home to a ceremonial way of life. And my everyday life is going to be dedicated to the altar, to the earth, to ceremonial way of living. And maybe some of us have big projects, like big land projects, big healing spaces, like healing beds, creating spaces for transformative justice, for people to come in and really do that deep healing from addiction that keeps us trapped, or if you're like me, you have big ceremonial ritual art projects, whether it's theater or visual art or web series. What I teach in Otherworldly Giants is how to connect with the ancestors in you, the older ancestors in you that are awakening right now, to make those adjustments, ritual and ceremonial adjustments to our art and our work so that it directly feeds the earth. Because I'm seeing this in some places. So many of us are magically open in our art, and we're justice oriented and we're activists. But if we don't have the right ceremonial tools and create a sacred space of ceremony that is specific to how your ancestors want it, if we don't do that around our art, opening ourselves up in our art projects to this level of magic, like the genocidal paradigm and genocidal energies and capitalist colonial extractive energies out there, they're just waiting for a reason, for an opening to snatch our medicine that comes through our art and take it for themselves and put it back into the capitalist corporate paradigm. The industrial complexes. They're just waiting energetically to steal what we have and put it into them, and then we get depleted and we're like, I don't know why I can't make my budget work. I don't know why my bank account is like this. I don't know. I keep giving and giving and giving and it doesn't ever work out because those energies have it out for us. They're looking for even the smallest door crack open with the door. But they don't have to win because when we actually connect with those older ancestral technologies that are going to be the foundation for these bigger spaces that we collectively will be creating during Pluto and Aquarius in the next 20 years, when we have the right tools, the right mentorship, the right just alignment, the right support to get aligned and listen properly to what they want. Just, for me, sometimes it's just been like being in a session with an elder and they're like, you need to do this ritual with water. This is how you need to connect that so that your medicine goes to the earth and to the freedom movements and not get snatched up. For some people, it's just we have to make these small adjustments. And we can't do that if we're not in community. That's why I'm so passionate about this space and why I'm in love with this space, the Ancestors Writers Room, because I have this medicine, I have this wisdom. And I'm going to tell you that this genocidal paradigm has been on my ass. They got a galactic shadow ban on me. What is that? We're going to talk about that in the Ancestors Writers Room because that's a whole nother topic. But they got that shit on me. You know what a shadow ban is, right? On social media. You know that they do that on the energetic and the ancestral and the galactic, multidimensional, multiverse plane as well. And that's, if they have that on you, it doesn't matter what you do on social media. There's a specific technology for breaking through a galactic shadow ban. And that's my task right now because I got one on me. And that tells me something about how important this work is that I'm doing and how important the work is that everybody is doing who feels called to be in this space or resonates with my work, because all of us are holding this in some way. And we need to be in conversation with each other so we can protect each other in this larger vision. I know things are dire out there. Pachamama's body is hurting. Palestine is hurting. Congo is hurting. So many places on her body hurting, hurting. Turtle Island is hurting. This is for us to step into this work right now provides her, by her, I mean Pachamama and her whole body. It provides her immediate relief. I truly believe that the bombing isn't going to stop unless we really root down. Those of us who are called to this type of work, we really need to root down into it and get what is ours. This is what this is. When I saw this card, I heard the song that I've been listening to all year. It's been my theme song this year. It's called Sparrow by Emily Sandé. It's a beautiful song. I'm gonna put an audio clip of it on my Instagram. Um, Let me grab the lyrics for a second. Let me grab the lyrics for a second. We got magic in our bones. Bones is Capricorn. You can't make this shit up. We got magic in our bones. Just like the stars, we're gonna shine bright and golden. We go bang down all the doors, make sure we take back all the things that were stolen. We're gonna take the long way home. That's what this is. It's not only providing the earth with immediate relief to engage in this ritual artistic work right now, but it's also about building long term and ensuring that as capitalism continues to fall, that we create really strong, safe, soft landings for ourselves and for everyone else, honestly. As Pluto and Aquarius progresses and we enter into Pluto and Pisces, especially when we get into Pluto and Pisces, in about 20 years time, all these people who you've been trying to like convince to do the right thing and to explain to them what justice is, uh, you know, many of them aren't gonna they're not gonna change their minds right now. But in 20 years, when we create so many beautiful places of genuine healing and thriving and living ceremoniously with the earth that doesn't thrive at her expense, that doesn't thrive on a paradigm of extraction. Once people see how gorgeous that is and how fulfilling it is and how like, no, I didn't, get a deal with Netflix. I did it in a ceremonial way. And look at how much more successful my TV show is because I built it with ancestral technology. I didn't try to get a Netflix deal. I'm talking about in the future. I don't have that TV show out now, but I'm working on it. But mark my words. Mark my words. How many years into the future I'll be like, look at how much more successful and fulfilling and moving and beautiful it is that I didn't try and, get exploited by Netflix in order to get my magic out there. I did it in a way that maybe I can't imagine quite yet, but my ancestors are going to show me. I did it with ancestral technology, and more people will be like, "Oh my god, it looks like that out there." Well, then I don't want to be around desperately chasing the capitalist paradigm to give me a little bone to chew on. So we are way showers, right? And here, this is to enter into this arena is not to leave yourself out of it. It's not participating in that sacrificial activist paradigm where we have to give, 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 and live like this. It's no, 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 no. We give, 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 and we live like this. Okay? We're still give, give, giving, but we live like this. See, this is the ancestors. This looks to me like some colonial museum shit, right? And she's just like taking back what is rightfully hers. But it feels like this is happening on the ancestral level and it's like below this card, right? So, what the ancestors are saying is just keep going on your path. Don't worry. Don't worry so much about what someone stole from you or what someone took from you. And people stole money from me this year in 2023. Okay? Like, I got fucked over in certain jobs, okay? Like, I experienced some damn financial injustice that broke my heart this year. And underneath the financial injustice, it was an ancestral extraction of my medicine and my magic. That's what they wanted. They just wanted to take it and then bounce. But my task right now is not to, you know, get in an argument with them or chase them around. It's just to fucking say, "You know what? That's your karma. That's your problem now. I'm on my path, and on my path, this is this is all that I get." And so ancestors are saying, just just go forward on your path. We'll take care of it. We'll bring it back to you. You will get what you are owed. And that's lastly, I wanted to talk about Jupiter and Saturn because when we're talking about true justice in how I'm seeing this Temperance card right now, I'm seeing Jupiter. I'm seeing someone Jupiter is like generosity and justice and balance is it's not transactional, right? It's not like, oh, to live in the spirit of justice in the way the universe works. It's not like I get I put something out there and I get exactly how it comes back to me, right? It's not about like, oh, I put in $1 and I get a bag of chips. It's not like that. It's like you don't know what you're going to get back. But Jupiter in the spirit of like generosity and faith, Jupiter is keeping score. Jupiter just gives, right? Jupiter just gives and trusts life, has faith in life and the universe enough to know that things work out. There's a quote that I recently read by one of my favorite singers from when I was a teenager, named M. Griner. I was reading an interview from her, and she said something like, I might be paraphrasing, but like, what is there to be bitter and resentment about in terms of your past when new love is holding you in its hands? Like, that's justice, right? It's getting to live the life that you deserve. It's getting to be in relationships that respect you. It's getting to be full of joy. It's getting to be appreciated by the new people in your life, right? And it's like what do you have to be bitter or resentful about if you get to heal where you are now? If you genuinely are recognized and respected for your gifts and people want to hear your stories and people want to help you out. Like, that's Jupiter, that's generosity, that's justice, that's the true spirit of justice, is the universe and how it works and getting to just live in gratitude every day that the universe is giving to you and you get to give to it and it constantly surprises you. That's love and long-term partnership, right? It's not about, "Oh, I did this for you today, and so now you gotta do that for me tomorrow." It's not transactional like that, right? It's like sometimes we help out our partners more because they need more help and they need more support, they're going through something in their lives, and sometimes they help us out more, and in a healthy, beautiful, like, loving relationship, respectful relationship, aligned, compatible relationship, it all just kinda works out at the end of the day, doesn't it? That's justice. That's who we are as artists. Like we came out with that like inherent love of the universe. That's what I mean when I say wonder children. You're not keeping score. And yet, here I am talking all about justice. And yesterday when I was like channeling this whole thing, I was like, I've been talking about justice this whole time, but where's justice is an actual tarot card and they're nowhere to be seen. What is that about? And if I'm saying that temperance, Jupiter, is justice, the true spirit of justice and generosity and love and grief and exchange, giving and receiving in the universe, if that's what I'm saying, that's temperance, well, who's justice in all this? So what I did yesterday is I was like, okay, let me let me pick justice out. And so I went through carefully, like every single card. I was like, where's justice? Where's justice? Just calmly. And I looked and I looked. Where is it? Until finally I came upon it right there. That's exactly where it is, where it was. So I pulled it out. There's Justice. And this was the card that was right next to it. We'll talk about that in a sec. So who's Justice then? If we're saying Jupiter is the true spirit of justice, who is this? Well, it's Saturn, motherfuckers. If the true spirit of justice is this generosity in the universe, then justice, this card, is Saturn. It's the boundaries and the structures and even the rules, the relationship agreements and contracts that protect the true spirit of the universe, which is inherently just. The relationship agreements, the contracts, the transactions. Okay? This is what Pluto in Capricorn was schooling us on, especially me. Where I came out here into life and I was just like, yay, justice, generosity. That's like my um natural disposition. It's just to give, give, give. And I just have faith that things will work out in the end because I trust the universe. And I kept getting heartburned. I kept getting heartburned because Saturn, what Saturn does is it looks at the reality of our situation. It looks at the reality of time and space and dimension. It looks at the reality of all the complex layers of what is happening on the earth and can get really precise, can look really deeply into an energy field and see all the different relationship agreements and contracts and the contracts that we have in our relationships that are, ooh, didn't realize that was actually serving colonialism or capitalism. Oh, we have to adjust that. We have to put in boundaries. We have to sever that relationship tie. Oh, that one is showing you again and again and again that it's not going to change. Okay, well, I have to leave then. This is justice. This is what Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn, those doors slamming, that was like, boom, end that relationship, boom, end that corporate job, boom, reach out for help because you're sick and you're chronically ill and we need more accessibility in our communities and relationships. Boom, it's like boom, boom, justice, justice, justice. Saturn's justice was like teaching us, schooling us in ways that were very difficult and painful for me. And this is the thing, like the how this tarot reading unfolded for me, like I literally had to go looking for this. I had to be patient. I had to go through this deck one at a time, calmly look through this space and this space and this space. I had to retrieve I had to retrieve the protection around my true spirit of justice. I had to go looking for it. And now both Jupiter and Saturn are saying together, like, we are good now. Okay, you did it. You did it. You're good. Now, what actually needs to happen instead of this sitting here, when justice comes with this big sword, this Ace of Swords, and goes whoosh, and you just speed up and you go, what it's going to do is remove this and it's going to take this to the place where it belongs. So the people who are actually responsible for this have to take responsibility for it, or they have to figure out what they're going to do with that. And then that relieves you because you're no longer carrying that responsibility. And when that leaves, that's going to go over here. Justice is going to take care of that. Then Saturn's justice sits right here. Okay? And now you are on this motorbike and you can move and you can change and you can grow and you can figure things out and you have protection around you. This is the difference between moving forward on your life path and what it's been like to move forward on your life path surrounded by injustice versus now you get to learn what it's like to move forward on your life path protected by Saturn's justice, by relationship agreements, by contracts, by values, by interests, by principles, by those who will protect you and everything that you've been carrying, all the birthing that you have to do. And you know what? When I have this here, this feels uncomfortable because this is really fucking familiar. This feels familiar. This is the challenge, right? This is a challenge because this is really familiar to have this here. It sucks and you hate it, but it's familiar and thus it's comfortable. And this is right. It feels so right, but it's uncomfortable because it's so new. And it's saying, yeah, like, get used to it. Get used to the uncomfortability of being protected. Get used to how uncomfortable it is for you to share yourself vulnerably and for someone to respect you and be kind to you and love you. Get used to the fact that you don't have to grieve alone anymore. Get used to the fact that you don't have to live in, like, constant isolation. Get used to whatever it is that you've been praying for. Yeah, get used to it. It's it's gonna be an adjustment. So we often talk about transaction like it's an inherently capitalist thing and it's an inherently bad thing. And I say this about competition too, because we think that competition is inherently uh, capitalist. But the thing is, when you learn astrology, when you are actively engaging with the planets as ancestors themselves, um, you see that, well, competition is actually a sacred part of the universe. It's Mars. It doesn't have to be inherent to capitalism, though. And transaction is actually a sacred part of the universe. It's just a part of the universe. It's Saturn. Saturn's always there. Like, Saturn's never going to go away unless, we're far, far into the future when it's time for this solar system to go through transition, whatever. Like, we're not there yet. Until then, Saturn is here, and Saturn carries this medicine. It's about that um, meticulous observation and assessment of the reality of the times that we are living, and always a collaboration with that. So Saturn understands that, like, we need transaction right now in order to remind ourselves how to be generous with one another. We need transaction to do this larger reparation work. We need transaction in order to um, show people what we value. It's like, I value your ancestral gifts more than I value, investing in the stock market, for example, or investing in something that's tied up with genocide. Like, I would rather put my resources toward, you know, learning and growing with an amazing ancestral elder or teacher or community than I would feeding a habit or an addiction that I know is destroying me, that I don't want anymore in my life, right? Like, we need transactions to remind ourselves and each other what we truly value and what we care about, um, and to protect each other in the reality that we're living in. And that's not going to go away when capitalism disappears. Our need to value each other and see each other's gifts and say, I'm going to invest in you. I want to resource you. I believe in you. That doesn't go away when capitalism goes away. We have to lift that up now and work with our times. And that's how we get back to this. That's how Jupiter and Saturn collaborate with each other beautifully in the sky and bring us something that we're just barely beginning to imagine right now. And then the Hierophant at the end is like, just don't forget how important it is that you like, don't forget how important it is what you're carrying. Like, you know how important it is because you protected it through literal muck duck, through rigmarole, through all sorts of shenanigans. You protected it, so don't forget it now. Don't forget that this is your power. These are your principles. You are a teacher. You deserve to be reciprocated. And if you're in a learning space right now, you deserve to learn and grow it and build it. But this is saying, like, you're either here now or you will be throughout the next 20 years, somewhere in the next 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius. Like, you will be here, like, meant to not just protect and share the kind of artistry that you're carrying. You're meant to be a leader of it in some way. You're meant to be a space holder of it in some way, whether you're space holding for big groups or you're space holding, like, for a land project, your land stewardship, or just like the life that you're living. Like, you are really meant to be the teacher and the leader of what you are carrying. And it's going to teach you how to do that in the very specific way that your ancestors want that to happen for you. Um, so this is a time, like, really, really invest in yourself. Let's invest in each other. um, yeah, and trust this. Take that leap of faith. Because here's the last thing I'll say. Um, okay, here's a little story. Where are we at? Almost an hour. Okay, little story, little story. So I was having a meeting with my tech wizard assistant for the Ancestors Writers Room. So the Ancestors Writers Room is a 2-month apprenticeship with um, my ancestral technology called open heart surgery storytelling. And it is for revolutionary ancestral artists. It's for me to support you on this journey that you're on. So you might not, like, resonate complete, like, you might not this story might not be your exact story, but you might feel a lot of resonance, like, with what I'm saying. Um and if that's the case, and if you feel called to join this Ancestors Writers Room, yeah, this is a space where I will be supporting everyone to do this, basically, to plant those seeds, and also to be your Queen of Pentacles, um, and to live on your path and get support for however you need to get support. So I'll put the link below in terms of what the container looks like. Um, I'll be doing weekly readings like this, and so I'll be available throughout February and March. That's one part of the apprenticeship, is that I'll be available every Sunday for office hours, and so we'll be doing divinations like this, and that'll be for people who join an opportunity to, you know, have be in a it's all online, so closed Zoom space, and I'll be doing readings like this, and then in that space you'll actually have the opportunity to ask questions or clarify things that are specific to what you're going through. And there's a lot of other beautiful, amazing things available that I'll be sharing through the Ancestors Writers Room in terms of like helping us really understand this path of the ancestral revolutionary artist, because it comes with specific challenges, specific milestones. It's different life path than an activist path that isn't super deeply into the healing journey, and it's different than an artist life path that isn't justice oriented. and isn't magically or spiritually open. So this is a very specific life path, and we can go through a lot of devastating events if we don't have support for that. And so my intention is to really create a space where we can exchange support. I have a wealth of wisdom. I have a wealth of wisdom that is pouring out of me in terms of my decade long experience living this life path. Um, and I'm in my Queen of Pentacles moment, like I have something to give, and it's really important. And if you are resonating with this, and if you're called to be there, and if you look at what it's going to be like, on the web page, you can check all of that out. Yeah, please consider joining, and investing. Find a way to invest. And if you truly don't have the resources, it's 199 for 2 months. Um, Actually, well, today, January 20th, is the last day we have a sale for 188. But other than that, after today, it starts February 4th. After today, it's 199. So if you genuinely, you're like, I need to be there, but I really don't know where I'm going to get that money. Advocate. Here's what I suggest. Um, See if you can make a list of 10 people who you can ask, can you pitch in $20? Or 20 people, can you pitch in $10? And I know we have a hard time sometimes asking for help around money, but don't see it as a burden. You're not This is about training our communities to value healing more, and to saying, this is a really important space for me to be in. And healing and accessibility is a communal responsibility. Hey, friends, like, can you support me to be in this space? Because I need to be in the space so that the teacher also can get her reciprocity. And so the teacher doesn't have to like sacrifice what she needs to do this work, financially. So I don't have to ask her to, you know, sacrifice that. Like, let's, as a community, as friend circles, let's like help me heal and help her get paid. Right? And so that's the kind of advocacy that I suggest. It's either like making that room in your budget and prioritizing that, or advocating for this, advocating for me, advocating for yourself, knowing you're worth it, knowing I'm worth it, knowing this work is worth it, like the ancestors in you that need your attention, you're worth it. Okay? So that spiel aside, again, yeah, we're starting on February 4th. Beautiful. We're starting with amazing writing workshop. You want to check it out. Check it out. So anyway, I was talking to my tech wizard because we had a meeting the other day to just like, figure everything out, talk about the tech stuff. High tech wizard. And and sorry, they asked me at some point, my ancestors tapped them on the shoulder and they're like, "Hey, ask Shaunga if she's got new shoes." And it's like one of those times where like your ancestors are asking you a question when they know very well the answer. And so my tech wizard, they're like, "Shaunga, did you buy new shoes yet?" Um, and I was like, "No, I'm just, like, waiting to see, like, how, register. I'm just waiting to see if the money's gonna come in." But listen, okay, because I'm telling you the story. Last year, when my beloved feline companion, Esta, my beloved kitty, he was still alive, and he was in his transition portal, because we're coming into the 1-year anniversary of his transition. I was sleeping, and something in my body felt like I knew he was gonna vomit because he was in that space of, he was sick. Um, and he was, like, on the other side of my apartment, but something in my spirit knew that he was gonna vomit, and I, like, got up out of my sleep, like, almost in a trance, and I, like, ran. Like, I was, like, asleep pretty much, but I, like, ran across the room from my bed, and I'm so glad that I did because he was about to vomit in my shoe. And I moved the shoe out of the way before he did that, and I'm saying this is a really big deal because those are my only shoes. I have had these, like, ratty ass, old ass shoes that are falling apart that don't fit me anymore, like, I need new shoes. I need new fucking shoes. And I was like, "You can't vomit in these shoes, they're my only shoes." And, like, pandemic was hard for me, right? So I was in a point of, like, really a lot of depletion, and, I just, like, didn't have what I need to buy new shoes at that point. And here we are a year later, and so my tech wizard's like, and so I had told my tech wizard this story before, and this time when we met a couple days ago, they were like, "Yeah, the ancestors, like, ask Shaunga, ask Shaunga, did Shaunga buy new shoes yet?" Like, "Did you buy new shoes?" And the ancestors know very well that I haven't, because 'cause I'm still like, "No, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, we'll see." And for one thing, that's where they're like, "Come on, like, you have to go forward on your path, get new shoes, okay? You're okay, be okay." But I wanna bring up this story because, 1, this is my specialty, is not just the ancestral artist life path, but um, how our animal companions help us out when we're on this revolutionary life path. Our animals are energy healers. Animals are death doulas. They are artistic collaborators. They have very specific way of working with us when we're on this life path. And one thing they do is mirror us, right? Or they do energy healing work. They point things out for us. Shoes represent what? It's your life path, the direction, you as like a leader and a director of your own life. And the fact that Esta was about to vomit in these shoes that don't fit me anymore, he was telling he was doing energy healing work in that moment. And I was like, "Oh, but just wait, like I need to figure things out first." But they're like, "You can't like stop using these shoes. Like stop wearing these, get new shoes." That was like that message, right? Um So basically, it's like at this point, y- the justice that you deserve, that is owed to you, you will receive. And that's basically what my ancestors needed to tell me in this meeting. They're like, Shanga, don't you get in our way. Like, don't get in our way. Like, you didn't come all this way. You didn't go through the muck duck protecting this just to come here and fuck it up now. Like, this is yours. The only person who can fuck it up now is you. And you might say, why? Why would I fuck it up? Why would I fuck this up? Who would do that? The reason why any of us would derail this right now has something to do with your grief. Because I saw that part of me that would push all of this away. It's a part of me that is a grieving mother to my beloved companions, a grieving friend, a grieving companion. That's the one force in the universe that justice will always yield to. Justice yields to the grieving mother. I wanted to land that because that is one of the stories and teachings that I will be offering in the Ancestors Writers Room for those who join the apprenticeship, because that's, if there's one thing that's gonna fuck it up, it's gonna be that. We have to be tending to our grief in a certain way, um, in order for all of this to work, and supporting each other in our grief. So we're gonna be doing that kind of grief work in this portal, because that is the one thing. It's something about your grief, because justice will yield to you. Like all these wands that are coming in, like flowers, reciprocity, community, wealth in its true form, love, partnership, money, bills paid, rest, reciprocity, healing, healing for the earth. It's like boom. It's like those doors that used to slam. Now these doors are giving to you. Boom, boom, more, boom, boom, boom. Respect that you deserve. Everything that you've been praying for. Prayers, prayers, prayers. But if there's a grieving part of you that's like, no, wait, I don't want it. Justice will have to yield to you, because they yield to the grieving mother, the grieving parent, the grieving companion. They yield to grief. So for us to really be in right relationship with our grief, with our religious trauma, with our spiritual trauma, with our friendship trauma, with our partnership trauma, with our family trauma, that is how when we're in right relationship with grief, then whew, our life explodes into love. Our life explodes into prayers fulfilled. So we have all of that and more in this container that I'm holding. And so if you're watching this on January 20th, I encourage you to look at it and grab the discount. And if it's past that, I encourage you to attend. If you need support finding the resources, ask people for help, and not from like a begging place, right? It's not like not like I said, it's not like, oh, I'm burdening you. Like, ask from a place of worthiness, because you are worthy and this is worthy and I am worthy. If you know you have to be here and you genuinely can't find the resources, I guarantee you have people around you, or you have some kind of connection to resources around you through relationships that will get you in the door. Because if your ancestors need you to be here, then you will be here. But you have to be aligned energetically with me and with what I'm offering, and with also wanting to protect me and my ability to sustain this work and be the Queen of Pentacles and do these big ceremonial, pay it forward. Like I have projects that I need to put this money into. I have land back projects that I want to support. I have big ceremonial um, work as a death doula, as a death surgeon, like as um, a waterbender, like as I have work to do. As an energy healer in the world, like I have work to do. Okay. So I need to be protected, and I need, I, I need to be okay. And, um, I need to be well supported in the work that I'm doing. Like I've done enough in the last 10, 15 years to earn this moment. And that's my place of worthiness that I'm sitting in. And I want everyone in this container who joins, and even who don't, like I want everybody to find that worthiness for themselves, whatever that is for you. And if you want to be in this container, I want to support you to get there, or to be in it more deeply, or to protect that in you, or to help you be the fullest embodiment of freedom that your spirit can be in this moment and the next day and the next day. Um, yeah, so I'll leave it there. Um, Stay tuned to my channel, subscribe on YouTube, uh, follow Otherworldly Giants on Instagram. I haven't been active in the little last while, but I want to be a little bit more active um, in the next while as we're promoting up until this container starts. It's just there's so much going on. Like I just don't. The day is over, and I don't end up, getting on Instagram. But sign up for the mailing list at the bottom of my website. I'm gonna edit the little description. I'm gonna put all the links there. But wherever you go and however you are today, I love you. I thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to the end. If you did, you get 5 gold stars. And enjoy this time as much as possible. Grieve as much as you need. Ask for support when you need support. I'm with you. I'm here for you. And I'll see you next time.